Aloha, e komo mai, welcome to the Living in Hawaii Ohana. We're happy to have you here today. And my name is Carol Spearling. I am your host here today. And we have a returning contributor, Soraya Leternal. Say good morning, Soraya.
Hi, everyone. How's it going?
Great to have you here. And then we also have a new contributor here to our Islander Ohana and Living in Hawaii, Angie M. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself? I'm sorry, I have a hard time with your last name, but you're going to spell it out for me and tell me a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely, Carol. My name is Angie Metriaco. I joke that my last name sounds just like it's spelled. My dad is from Thailand, so it's Thai Chinese, and it's pronounced Metriaco. I've been on the Big Island for about 25 years since I graduated from college. My family lives on Oahu, but agriculture really brought me over to the Big Island.
That's great. And you have a house, a little bit of a farm, garden. Do you do a lot of that?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Great.
I have a nice big greenhouse. We grow a lot of food in it.
Right on. Cool. Thanks, Angie. And then Patrick, another new contributor to our Living in Hawaii. Patrick, welcome. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Good morning and aloha. I've actually graduated high school in Hawaii. I'm a military brat, so that was the first time that I was here. Then moved away when Dad got orders, and then kept visiting, traveling through. And 2016 ended up coming back and have been back on Oahu since. So brief stint in the military myself, and just enjoying being back on Oahu after being here the first time.
Awesome, Patrick. Well, thank you. And so welcome. We're so happy to have you here today, because today we are talking about prices and amenities about construction and homes and living. And so that we can give them an idea of price range and amenities there on Oahu, which Patrick, you're going to be able to help us out. And then also what's happening here on the Big Island. What have we had happening recently, and new construction projects and what's coming along. So that's how we're going to get started this morning. And so Patrick, can you just kind of break this down a little bit for us about prices and amenity? How do they compare to those on the Big Island versus Oahu?
Sure. So when it comes to a comparison between Oahu and the Big Island, generally Oahu is going to be a little bit more expensive. One, we just have limited land. That's the biggest thing more than anything else. And specifically, we have limited land that's zoned for construction. We actually have quite a bit of land on the island, but a lot of it is not allowed to be built on. All those beautiful mountain ranges that you see in pictures and postcards, zone conservation preservation, can't build on that stuff. So that's kind of a big limiting factor in our area. When it comes to types of homes, we have condominiums and single family homes in different new developments. And on the condo side, you're going to see price ranges anywhere from 500,000 upwards to 2 million plus, especially when you get into the luxury condominium projects. Those prices can get pretty significant. And then on single family homes can range anywhere between 800,000 to 1.5 million. Now, amenities on our island, we're very developed. So all the things that you would typically see on the mainland, from shopping like Costco, Sam's Club, Target, Walmart, all of those type of stores, restaurants, things like that, we've got them just like you would have on the mainland. And then going to the condo developments that we have here in town, they come with some pretty cool amenity decks, some of them, where they've got the pools, the fitness centers, different types of common areas that you can just hang out and relax in. So pretty cool. Because of the zoning and everything, we are definitely more crowded than the Big Island, a little more dense. And then, of course, you have some traffic challenges as well.
Okay. And so Patrick, kind of explain to us a little bit, walkability. I think walkability for a lot of folks looking to move here, that's an important factor, because we're here in Hawaii, get outside, go for a walk and do that. So in a lot of the communities, is it walkable? And do they have sidewalks? And especially like the condos in town, I would think you'd be able to walk to a lot of things.
Absolutely. So most of the condo developments that are coming up down in town, specifically in like the Kaka'ako area. There's a Ward Village is a big one that's being developed. they're building about 12, 14 buildings right in that one section. And then Kamehameha Schools, just to the west of that, is developing a bunch of blocks. They've got about 6 buildings already done, and they're building probably about another 6 more over there. And those are extremely walkable. As a matter of fact, like one of the buildings that's already been completed has Whole Foods in the ground floor. So you can go downstairs right to Whole Foods from your building if you did buy in that specific building. So yeah, the walkability of that Kaka'ako area is amazing.
That's great. That's great. And then in some of the other areas, the more single family home residential areas, as far as walking trails and hiking and that type of thing, that's also available there.
You know, right now we've only got about 3 single family home developments going on. I think there's one by Gentry, one by D.R. Horton, and one by Castle and Cook. They're all out west, and they've got the Gentry ones, not so much. D.R. Horton's developing a huge community of about 20,000 homes and condos and townhomes, and they're putting in a lot of trails within their community system. And then I believe over in the Castle and Cook development, they're doing the same. They're putting a pretty significant trail system. Especially, I think one of the things they're really doing is making it very bikeable, their development. So yes, definitely seeing a lot of that in the areas where they've got control over a large amount of acreage. They're definitely implementing that.
That's awesome. And it's good to hear about bikeable, because, you just mentioned that traffic is a major issue. And so if you live in a place that you can ride your bike to work, I mean, that seems like a win-win all the way around.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Cool, Patrick. Well, thank you very much. Angie, maybe you can tell me a little bit about Big Island and what we have available here and how it compares, from what Patrick just mentioned.
Sure, absolutely. So, we kind of are real opposite. We have almost like more of a surplus of vacant land. So that changes our construction dynamic a lot over here. Our price ranges range from 300,000 to 1 million, and then custom homes start around 500,000. But of course can go much higher for larger properties. But I think, speaking to what Patrick was talking about, we just have the availability of vacant lands that the other islands don't. So we have this sort of opportunity for people to build their own custom homes, which you don't see, I don't think, as much on the other islands. And then as far as the amenities go, my family lives on Oahu, and a big one for me, I think, is the traffic. We don't have the same amount of traffic, but also we don't have the same transportation services, like really regular bus schedules from rural areas. So I think that's pretty impactful too. Our infrastructure in some of the rural areas is still developing too. So we're kind of waiting for that to kind of catch up with some of the growth.
Okay, yeah, infrastructure, that's kind of a big thing to folks on the mainland that are familiar with living in a city and having, one of the things is between water and having piped water, which a lot of properties here on the Big Island, we do not have piped water coming from a county source. We have catchment, and then also is wastewater, is we don't all have that hookup to the county sewer. So those are 2 infrastructure issues, I think, that are here on the Big Island much different than what you would have on Oahu as far as that infrastructure. And now, Soraya, I know walkability, you get out, you kind of live in town and you get out and about a lot, and you go running every morning and you go walking on Ali'i Drive. Can you tell us about walkability here in Kona?
I love it. I mean, I've said in a prior show that to me, the Big Island's a playground. And I really feel like if you live in one of the new construction developments right here in Kona, you can walk everywhere. And we also have the free Kona trolley. It used to be like $3, I think, to take a ride, but now it's free. And it'll take you along Ali'i Drive to all of the main beaches, restaurants. It takes you all the way to Target, Walmart. So if you just want to come and not have to worry about having a car and just enjoy being in town, there's definitely great walkability, cycling paths as well, and the Kona trolley.
That's awesome. Now, I think cycling is a little bit more challenging here on Big Island, or at least on Kona side, because we're on the side of a hill. So you're either going up or down. And down, no problem, but it's going up, which could be the issue. And not all of our roads are really, really bike friendly, because we do have a lot of narrow 2-lane, not a lot of shoulder roads that are beautiful, but not really for bicyclists. So, getting out on Ali'i Drive and bicycling there is okay. But once you get into some of the other roads, it's a little bit challenging. And we just did have Ironman here, and we had a lot of bicyclists here. And as long as they stay north on the highway where there's plenty of shoulder room, that's great. But, some of the South Kona roads, maybe not so much. So thank you very much. Great.
Yeah,
So
I actually cycle, so I love it. I know that the Queen K has a really, really wide shoulder, so I would typically recommend people who are cycling to park at a local county park, and then you can take your bike along the Queen K.
Okay, that's awesome. And then I think there's that other Ani K road, which is kind of a bypass between Kona out to the Costco area, and that one has great wide shoulders also. And that one, there's walking paths. So that one is great to get out and walk there also, I think.
Yeah, it's a great one.
Great. Okay, well, let's move on and let's take a look at some of the communities that we have up and coming along here on Big Island. So right now, we do have this project happening on Ali'i Drive, which is great because, again, walkability. Cottage is on Ali'i Drive. It's a single-family home development, and it is a Stanford Carr who is very reputable. He's developed quite a few projects here in Hawaii, in the state. This project is going to allow for, I believe, 58 new homes. And Angie, can you tell us a little bit about how that's going to impact the community? And if you purchase a home here, what are the benefits? How close are you to the ocean? How long is it going to take you to go jump in the water?
Well, I think that's really like the draw here is you're right on Ali'i Drive. You can walk to everything. You can run across the street. It's really close to all the surf breaks that I surf at. So that's definitely would be a big one for me, is just grabbing your board and like walking down the road a little bit and jumping in the water.
Great. This is going to be a very walkable community because it is, I think, only 1 or 2 entrances in, and then, kind of narrow roads in there. And then there's going to be a park also back in there. So yeah, this community is coming along, and it's Soraya, any idea, where prices are on properties like this? Just kind of as a ballpark, do we have any idea?
Yeah, absolutely. So I believe they have 6 different floor plans. They start at right around 1.1 million. Now they have special pricing for certain properties that are already built where they give incentives to buyers, and those will go down to the 960,000, and they usually have a really good rate as well. One thing about walkability that I did want to mention is there is a farmer's market next door. So you can easily go next door and get your groceries from a local farmer. You can also eat out. They have a lot of food trucks that go over there as well. And across the street, there is a liquor store, I think, and hairdressers and all those little things in a shopping center. But there's also an ocean access from there. And there's a pool, which is actually an ocean water pool. And when the tide is high, the local kids will go there and do backflips into this pool. But if it's not high, there's some fish that get trapped in there. But it's a great area because you can walk and do a lot around there.
That's awesome. Cool. Yeah, I've been down to that pool. It's at Kona by the Sea, and it is right across the street. And when the surf is up, there's a lot of people, and it is public access. So, for folks looking at, things to do on Ali'i Drive, that's definitely a draw. And Angie, as you mentioned, surf spots, tell us about some of the surf spots that are close to that, because we have a lot of folks that watch that want to come here for the surf.
Right. And there's an amazing surf spot, Tiki's and Rivieras. Rivieras is right next to the saltwater pool. It's pretty intermediate and up surfing. It's very shallow. We have a lot of reef breaks here, but it is an amazing place to watch, especially when that surf is big and it's coming over the wall and watching all the kids. It's just like a quintessential sort of picture of Kona town. And then further down, we have like the Lyman surf break. That's right across from the Royal Ali'i development that I was talking about earlier. That's probably my favorite surf break, and therefore I think Royal Ali'i might be my favorite development on Ali'i Drive as well. Lyman's is one of the breaks that only breaks when it gets big, so it just ends up being like a really fun time.
So Royal Ali'i, you're mentioning now this is another development, kind of similar like cottages, but a little bit different location on Ali'i Drive.
It's a little bit further south, and I like it. It has a little more of a private feel, just right past Lyman Surf Break. There are 15 units. I believe they have 12 sold or something, but I actually went by pretty recently and just checked them out. There was a really nice home available for 1.25 that's like all built and ready to go, which I was really surprised by. It's a really amazing development just for the density, in my opinion. Just having the really low density I liked.
Yeah, and having it close by to Lyman Surf Break, because not only for surfing, but a lot of people, when there's not big waves, a lot of folks go out on their stand-up paddle boards from there because it is a nice big bay and it's easy to get in and out. And when the water's calm, you know, that it's just crystal clear. And stand-up paddle boarding for a lot of people that don't surf, they go out stand-up paddle boarding or snorkeling, and that's a nice bay for that as well.
Absolutely. Great. And it has great diving. We dive around that point a lot. My husband and I actually got engaged on the cliff at Lyman's. 100 million years ago.
Well, it's still going strong, and that's the most important thing.
Absolutely.
Good. Okay, well, let's take a look at another development. And I think, Patrick, you're going to be able to fill us in a little bit on this. D.R. Horton has some things happening on Oahu that you can share with us?
Absolutely. So D.R. Horton's been building on Oahu for many years. They've completed a couple of different developments. But the project out at Ho'opili, which is what's up on the screen right now, is a huge master plan community. It actually takes up a majority of that green space over there, but just south of the highway. They're going to have homes along Farrington Highway, all the way along the parkway there. And as a matter of fact, it's so large, it actually has 2 rail stops on the new rail line that they've just built. So going back to walkability and infrastructure, if you just want to hop on the train to get into town to work, this is the place. Because the traffic to and from the west side of Oahu is notoriously bad during rush hour. So if you've ever been stuck in a rush hour, either going to or from the west side, you know what I'm talking about. So the fact that the train infrastructure is built into the community is huge for that one.
Wow, that's great to hear, because, you know, this rail has been going on for quite a while, and being able to have this access from this community to get into town, get to closer so you don't have to deal with traffic. That is a huge benefit for anyone looking to purchase and live in West Oahu.
Yeah, and they've got a little bit of everything there as well. So they're making condominiums, which you see pictured here, as well as townhomes, as well as single family dwellings. So they've got a little bit of everything depending on your price points or what type of living that you want to have. They've even got this cute little townhome that they sell where the ground floor you can actually use for business. It's actually like a multi-use. So like if you want to put like your hair salon in the ground floor and live above it, it's so cool. So they've got a bunch of those within the development as well. And as you're driving around, you see like these little mom and pop coffee shops where they're like just doing their little sandwich place out of their house. It's super cool.
That's great, because that, you know, a lot of people maybe you move here. It's a very social thing to start something like that. And if folks move here and they don't really know anybody, starting a little business like that and having people walk by and stop in, that's a great social outlet for people to get to know each other.
Absolutely. And they've already put in a lot of the amenities into the community. They've built a huge soccer field complex within the community. They've put in a huge community center, a central pool for everyone. In addition to that, the bike trails, dog parks. They've got a lot of that stuff already completed as they continue building. And the way that they're selling these homes is during the heyday of the pandemic, when things were a little crazy, they had to use a lottery system. But now that things have kind of mellowed out, now it's back to first come, first serve. And basically, as the homes are almost completed, that's when they're listing them for sale. So you could actually have a home within less than 2 to 3 months from the time you put like your down payment on a new home in this project. It's pretty amazing.
Wow, that is good, because a lot of times other construction, if like here on Big Island anyway, construction, you purchase some land and you want to build a home, you're looking probably about a year by the time you get your plans and your permits and break ground and your construction and, the whole 9 yards. Whereas, coming in and being able to move into something basically from the time, you get here, you look at it, and within 2 months, you're in, and that's a great opportunity.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
And because things have slowed down a little bit out here, they even have some inventory that's available. One thing that I've been seeing, because I'm on their email newsletter, is they'll do what they call red tag sales, and they'll actually discount some of the stuff that's not moving. And so there's opportunity there to actually get a new home below list, which is unheard of.
Wow, that's great. That's great. And for anybody watching, this is going to be a really, good little nugget to reach out to us here at Living in Hawaii, because, we can put you in touch with someone that might be able to help you find a place like that. Because here at Living in Hawaii, we do have different folks and resources, but, we're here to just kind of let you know what's going on, but the resources are there. So if this sounds like something for you, reach out. Okay, so moving on, we're going to be talking about a little bit more about commercial. We do have a new shopping center here on the Big Island in Waikoloa Village. Soraya, can you talk to us a little bit about the Waikoloa Village, this new shopping center up there?
Yeah, absolutely. I believe they have a whole bunch of buildings that they built there, which are going to be apartment complexes for rent. They're not going to be meant for selling. They're going to be purely just rentals, like the typical apartment complexes that you have in big cities. We do have new restaurants, a new gas station, new grocery stores, new shopping. So it's great for the people who live in Waikoloa to see this type of development, because it is making their life better, where they don't have to drive as far. I believe there's also a new clinic right in there as well. So it is really, really great news for everyone locally.
That's great, because Waikoloa Village itself is a growing community. It's a little bit more affordable than Kona itself. And it has the walkability feature, definitely, in the Waikoloa Village area. And it services a lot of folks that either retired or work in the resorts that are down along the coastline. So this Waikoloa Plaza, it seems like a great thing that is coming along for all the residents there.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree.
Great. And it's going to have an anchor store of Foodland, and they have a variety of restaurants and everything. I believe they're going to get a Popeyes in there. I'm not sure if it's open yet, but here on Big Island, we only have one other Popeyes, which is in Puna. We'll talk about that here in a minute, but just other variety of all the different things that they have, because I believe they have like 23 stores open already here in this Waikoloa Plaza, and room for more. So that is a really great new feature for West Hawaii. So moving on, we're going to be now talking back with Patrick again, and we want to talk, you had mentioned earlier, Patrick, about Ward Village. Talk to us about this. This is something in downtown Honolulu. Folks on the mainland, we look at Honolulu and it's Honolulu, but then we have all these little different micro communities within, because you mentioned Kaka'ako, and now we have Ward Village, but they're all really in Honolulu. So kind of explain that to us.
Absolutely. So yes, Ward Village is in Honolulu, and specifically it's located in a neighborhood called Kaka'ako. And Kaka'ako is situated actually between downtown and Ala Moana Mall. So it's this section right there. And looking at the map that's up on the screen, you can see they're building a ton of properties. A bunch of them have already been completed. So for example, Waiea was the very first building they did, followed by Aieo and A'ali'i, which are farther in. And the cool thing about this project is because they own all the land, they built all the buildings in such a way that the second and third row are not blocked by the front row. So everybody has some kind of ocean view, no matter where they're located. A lot of times in the urban areas, when we're looking at condominiums, people are like concerned about their views to the ocean and if somebody's going to build a building in their way. With this, because they have the entire project, they can dictate what goes where, and that's how they did that. So it's pretty amazing how they set that up. All the buildings in here are very, very well developed. One of the other things that Ward Village did that was interesting, the Kaka'ako Development Authority is requiring all the developers to set aside reserved housing for owner occupants, local buyers that make within a certain amount of income per year. Now, what Ward Village did, because they wanted to make like true luxury buildings, and having somebody in that building who may or may not be able to like afford the HOA fees didn't make sense. You know, they put somebody in there, they could afford to buy, but then they couldn't afford to stay. So what they did was the percentage of properties that they had to build to meet that requirement, they did in two completely separate buildings. So if you look on the left side of this map, there's a La'aniu, and there's also, Ulana. Ulana is one of the reserved housing, and then Kikilohana, where the Long Drugs is. Those are both the reserved housing buildings, and they're still both really amazing buildings. Kikiolana has already been built. Ulana is under construction, and both of those buildings sold out like so fast. Wow. So very, very, very walkable. They have their own security. So they like to say it's like a gated community without gates. Just that like the
great.
rest
and
of
it
the
looks like it's right across from the Ala Moana Beach Park.
It is. And one of the things, if you look right where the harbor is, they've kind of penciled it in on the map there. They are funding the building of a huge pedestrian bridge to walk over from the development. So that's what that tiny little sliver is by the harbor there that's going over
yes.
Ala Moana Boulevard. Yes. So they're funding that. They got permission from the city. They did the plans, the design and everything. And the city's like, if you're going to pay for it, go for it. And it's already under construction. It'll probably be done here probably early next year. So that's already coming around.
That's awesome, because that again promotes walkability. It promotes the healthy lifestyle that we enjoy here in Hawaii, and being able to get over to the beach park and, you know, having that pedestrian bridge. Wow, that's just a real great feature about having that. And now I'm curious about solar. Do a lot of these places have solar? How eco-friendly are all these places? I'm sure that, you know, it's such a big deal now to use the sun's energy. Do you know anything about that?
So the buildings that have already been completed, I don't believe have solar. The good news, though, is they are using the most modern building techniques that they have available to them. So from an infrastructure perspective, in building these different buildings, they're putting in the best glass that they can for like keeping heat out and keeping cold in, things like that. So they are, from a construction standpoint, being as responsible as possible with all of these buildings. And they do have a very high grade. I believe LEED is the grade that they get for how green a building is. But I don't think they've got quite the footprint on their roofs for solar. So I don't think I've seen any solar per se.
All right. Thank you for that. Well, it looks like an amazing project, and definitely something to check out if you go to Oahu and you're looking at wanting the walkability and finding a place in downtown Honolulu. So moving on, we're going to go back to Big Island. And Angie, I'm going to have you talk to us a little bit about the Punakai Shopping Center. It's got an anchor of Malama Market. I don't know if you've ever been in there. They have an amazing deli. There's lots going on over there. Tell us a little bit of what, if you've been there.
Absolutely, Carol. I used to live in Puna about 15 years ago. And it's really exciting to me to see it expand like this, because for so long, the district of Puna was our fastest growing population on the Big Island. I think for the past 20 years, it doubled its population. We have about 200,000 people here. I think they have like 50,000 in Puna. So anytime I see the expansion of commercial like this over there, it really makes me happy for the residents. There's a lot of workforce housing there. I think having this center, especially, everything's really modern and new. Prior to this, I think it was Pahoa Town where most of your needs were met in Puna. The Malama Market, I love. It's an amazing smaller grocery store chain. But even my family from the mainland would comment on some of our smaller grocery store chains as being sort of our own unique Whole Foods on the Big Island. I love this shopping center. I think it's a great addition to the district of Puna.
Yeah, I 100% on that Malama Market because they have a great deli and they cater. They have, poke, they have, hot foods. They have, stuff in the chiller that you can just take in the go. And then as far as their organics, they have so much because in that Puna area, there's a lot of farms. And a lot of people grow a lot, papayas, and then you have, just your lettuces and all the kinds of stuff that they sell there. And then I have to mention, because I'm coming back to it from the Waikoloa, is that there is an active Popeyes restaurant in Punakai Shopping Center, the only one on the Big Island. And, for a lot of folks on the mainland, Popeyes is yum, and it is yum, but there's only one on the Big Island,
Carol,
right now.
I love this focus on Popeyes. I went to college on the mainland. I'm in love with Popeyes. And I was so excited to hear we're getting more Popeyes availability on our island.
Absolutely. I know I was when I went over there, I was like, oh my gosh, I've heard so much about it. And then I had to go try it. And of course it was wonderful. And Popeyes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So thanks for sharing about Punakai, because it is a pretty amazing shopping center. And, for the residents, like you said, Puna is such a growing community that being able to have such a modern shopping center, because as you said previously was Pahoa Town, which was okay, but didn't really have a lot of the modern things that this shopping center provides for the people in the community. So, thanks for sharing that.
Absolutely.
All right. So moving on, we're going to be heading back over to Oahu, Patrick, and we're going to talk about something a little bit more luxury here, if you can fill us in.
Sure. So the park on Keeaumoku, this is a property that's just a little bit north of Kaka'ako. So a little bit farther away from the water, but as you can tell by the photo, still great views. They're building two towers there, the Leona Tower, the Rycroft Tower. The Leona Tower is pretty much done and sold and is pretty much complete and already sold out. I think there's like 2 units left for sale in the building. It's crazy. And then the Rycroft Tower is probably 75% sold out, but there is still quite a few units still available over there. Great walkability score. It's Keeaumoku runs directly into Ala Moana Mall. So it's just a straight shot if you wanted to get to Ala Moana Mall. If you don't know about Ala Moana Mall, it's like the largest shopping center in the state and one of the largest outdoor malls in the country. So it's kind of a big deal. In addition to that, the Walmart in Honolulu is on Keeaumoku as well. So Walmart, Sam's Club right there. And that section of Keeaumoku that the building is being built in is known for having just a ton of really good restaurants. One of my favorite sushi places is nearby. So definitely highly walkable, definitely a lot of everything just right there. The units themselves, they've got everything from 1 to 2 to 3 bedrooms, as small as 500 square feet to upwards of 1,200 square feet interior. But yeah, it's an amazing building. And like I said, there's still some available within the Rycroft Tower.
Wow, that looks amazing. And as you said, this is a luxury condo, and Ala Moana Shopping Center actually has quite a few luxury stores. From what the last time I was there is that, just to walk past, they have all of the top names on the stores there. I believe if you go and there's a Tesla and you can take a Tesla for a test drive from there. And then of course, many of the other, big name outlets, Dior and that type of thing. Yeah. Shopping center for Ala Moana is amazing. So thank you for sharing that, Patrick.
Absolutely.
Okay. So moving on, we are going to finish up with a lot of our what we are looking at since Patrick got us started with the luxury. We're going to go to Soraya and talk to us about Maui Villas, which is here in West Hawaii. And Soraya, what can you tell us about this?
Yeah, absolutely. So Maui Villas is part of the Mauna Kea Hotel. And so the Mauna Kea Hotel has multiple different neighborhoods, and Maui Villas is one of them. They are single family homes that all have at least 4 bedrooms and 4 baths. Some of them have 3 bedrooms in the main home, and then an ohana that's either next to the garage or above the garage. They also all have a view of the ocean and a pool. They come and they're beautiful with great finishings. They're also along the golf course of the Mauna Kea. And they have a common area, which you see right here in a picture on the right, where they have a water slide, a gym, a little area where you can grill and hang out and enjoy the view. But also watch movies if you want, with your children. They have a little movie theater in there. But what's really great about this neighborhood is that it is gated, just like the Mauna Kea is gated. You can go down the road and go under a bridge, and you'll get to Hapuna Beach, where there is special parking for residents of Mauna Kea. And so you can easily access some of their amenities as far as great restaurants, beautiful beach, and all that good stuff. And another thing that's great about this particular neighborhood is that it is zoned for short-term vacation rental. So if you're thinking about luxury homes where it's typically very difficult to have single family homes that have the permitting for short-term vacation rental, this could be a great neighborhood for that. I believe they start around $4 million, just so that you know. You can also opt into using the amenities of the Mauna Kea, and then your guests can also use those as well if you do choose to rent it. And I believe there's a couple rounds of golf that are included on a daily basis. You can also have a free breakfast for 8, I think, as part of the plan with the Mauna Kea. So it's a buffet, so all your guests can go and enjoy all of these amenities. So it is a really great option if you're looking at the higher price point luxury homes that can be used as both primary homes and as an investment property as well.
Wow, that's pretty exciting. And now, is this fully built or is it still in the planning stages? How far along are they in this project?
They're fully built at this point. And so they have some homes that are already built. They have active people that live there full time. There's others who use it fully as a short-term vacation rentals. But I believe they still have a few models that are available that are for sale, that are in construction at this time. Now, between you and me, pro tip, they've sold some properties fully furnished. So that's something that you can definitely negotiate with them.
Wow, that's kind of a nice tip, because trying to get furnishings here, it's not always all that easy. And if you can come in and you can purchase a home that is fully furnished, that just makes everything so much more easy. So thank you for that, Soraya. Wasn't really familiar with that project, and we appreciate you sharing that. So going forward, I really want to just take a moment, and today is November 1st. We're taping this show November 1st, and Angie came up with a great idea that, November 1st, we're heading into the next couple of months. We have 2 months left of 2024. Closing thoughts. Angie, I will have you start this, of how you feel about November 1st and what you're looking forward to in the course of the next couple months.
Well, Carol, I'm always excited when we see our first whale of the season, and that happens in October. And for me and my family of 5, that means the surf's going to pick up and we're going to have a busy winter. So that's what I'm looking forward to right now.
Getting out in the water and getting out surfing and checking out the whales. Do the whales come up? I mean, are you surfing and they're
Yes.
like right there?
Sometimes, more so on Maui when I surf on Maui, but Big Island up north for sure.
Wow, that's exciting. All right, yeah. Patrick, how about you for the November 1st thoughts?
So kind of the same thing with Angie. out here on Oahu, on our North Shore, all the large surf competitions start hitting. So that's something to always go out and see, the big wave surf competitions that are about to kick off for the year. Also, I'm just happy that the holidays are coming. You know, it's a little bit of downtime, spend time with the family. I've actually got family coming in December. We're going to do an early Christmas so that they don't have to fly in when everybody else comes in for the holidays. So looking forward to having family in town and just hanging out and just doing the holiday thing.
Nice, 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 nice. We'll enjoy the time. And Soraya, how about you? Tell us a little bit about what you think for the next couple months.
I love November. Between you and me, it gets cooler on the Big Island. The whales come, so that's amazing. But one thing that I love, which some people may not know, is I moved to the Big Island to be a coffee farmer. So I'm really, really into coffee, and there's a Kona Coffee Festival every November. And so I am active in that. I really go and taste all the different coffees. To me, it's like a shopping spree before Christmas, and I buy a whole bunch of coffee for everybody. So I'm really looking forward to that and the Thanksgiving turkey trot.
Fun. And I think actually that Kona Coffee Festival starts today and runs until the 10th. And so, there's a lot of different activities that are going to be happening and lots of different things. So thank you for that. And, again, I'm Carol Spearling. I'm your host today. And I'll tell you, for November 1st, this last weekend, we had a storm come through and we got a few inches of snow up on our mountains. Mauna Kea, Mauna Loa, we got snow. And that's always exciting when you live here in Hawaii to, hear that, oh, wow, it snowed in Hawaii. It's really neat. And then potentially that, going through the next couple months, we get some more. And then we can go up there with our boogie boards and go, play in the snow when you live in Hawaii, I think is a really fun thing as well. So that's all of our finishing thoughts. And we're looking forward to seeing everyone again next week. Soraya, Angie, Patrick, thank you all for joining me here today. Really appreciate it. Anybody have any questions or have anything, living in Hawaii is the place to be. And this program will answer all your questions and help you out so that you can find the path to living in Hawaii. Aloha.